I thought we'd have a look at Oz Minerals, reported today. Now, I know BHP's about to take it over, so it's not going to be a separate company for much longer. But Oz Minerals increased copper production by 21% quarter on quarter, resulting in group production and cost guidance being met. Gold production decreased a bit. Construction on the West Musgrave project has commenced, while a ramp up to full production of Prominent Hill has been delayed from the first half of 2025 to the second half. So I really, even though BHP is going to take them over, how does this play into BHP? Oz Minerals is made that a lot, or BHP's paid a lot for this stock. Are we seeing early signs of what it could do to BHP over the next year or two?
Well, BHP is trading at all-time high.
Yep.
And none of the commodities, and I mean none of the commodities, are anywhere near all-time high.
Yeah.
And Aussie dollar is higher, so their costs are higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you how much the global flow of funds have been targeting mining stocks, and especially BHP. BHP is 10% of our index.
Yep.
So if BHP runs, so does our market. So our market has outperformed most other markets, mainly because we've got a massive horse at the front of it, and it's BHP. And I think it's great. I mean, they put a beauty pageant up and they picked the best looking one. And Osmin was the best looking one, and you know why. They're the best operating.
So it will deliver for BHP.
It will, and it has unique advantages for BHP. That being said, it's still a great operation. I mean, when you're looking at copper exposure, we've talked about this for years. Osmin is your default choice.
Right.
So BHP went, that's going to be us. And so I think it was a great trade. Yes, they paid up, but they needed to. It's good. And I don't see it's underperforming. I think it's a great buy. I'm not chasing BHP here. I think it's a bit overvalued. But look, I think it makes BHP even better at what they're doing.
Because I was listening to a fund manager on ausbiz, I think last week, who said you can make a lot of money just by trading BHP up to $50, selling around $49-50, waiting for it to drop to 35, buying in there, and then just go the next cycle.
Jeez, what are you? Wouldn't put my. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything nasty, but not my strategy, not the way I would do things.
So would you be buying BHP? I suppose the question is, Gaurav, based on what Oz Minerals is showing?
No. Oz Minerals will be a relatively small part of BHP. Remember, they paid, what, $10 billion? That's 6 months worth of free cash flow for BHP. Right. It's not a big deal. The big movers for them are still iron ore, which has just defied all expectations. And there are warning signs on iron ore. There is a wall of supply coming.
Sorry to jump in. I'll give you a stat. The steel ETF, right, is trading at 3-year highs, like pretty close to 3-year highs. Right. The Baltic Dry Index, which is all the, I suppose the main hard assets like iron ore, coal, and so on, it's at 3-year lows, near the pandemic lows. So the market is so optimistic in these main assets that they're pricing in so much. But that's the extreme.
I say be careful about using the Baltic Dry Index. They built a whole lot of ships, and that index is not as accurate as it used to be. I used to watch it all the time. I don't watch it anymore. But I take your point. I think that point is correct. There's a lot of optimism. I've rarely seen such a uniform, happy consensus around BHP as I see now, and that is a dangerous place to be. As I said, iron ore is the main driver for this stock, and the 3 big Australian iron ore producers are going to add 100 million tonnes over the next 2 or 3 years. You've got 100 million tonnes coming from Brazil, where the output coming back online from Vale. You've got in Africa probably 200 million tonnes over the next 2 years. That is another Rio Tinto plus coming onto the market within 5 years. That is a huge supply, and I'm not sure the market is. So you'd sell BHP
at these levels?
Look, we own BHP in our portfolios. We've deliberately we've thought that we'll keep BHP at market weight to protect ourselves from the huge iron ore movements in the index. I'm tempted to sell. I am. I think it might be time to reduce your weighting. It's such a great business.
So take profits.
I would start taking profits in BHP. The other thing I'd say about this merger, everyone assumes this is actually about Oz Minerals assets. a little hobby for me is Olympic Dam, which is this monster mine they have. I've been writing about this for about 10 years, and Olympic Dam is fascinating because it's probably, I think it's the second most profitable ore body in the world, if you just take the content and value of the rocks in the ground, but they've never made money out of it. And it's because it's fiendishly complex, it's radioactive, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So there's an engineering project to be done by trying to get this giant, just this huge, potentially profitable asset working. And a big part of that will be unlocking the resources from Oz Minerals, who have 2 big mines right next to Olympic Dam.
Oh, okay.
So I think this is actually all about trying to get Olympic Dam to its potential, which it has just never done. And BHP has tried a whole. At one point, they wanted to make it a giant open pit, and the size of the open pit would swallow the entire city of Adelaide. And they put that on the back burner. But there's a project to be done there, and this is part of that project. So I would just be. I know the copper is very fashionable right now. I would just
I'll throw another stat in there.
Hold on that. Yes.
For the first time, oil and copper are underperforming gold over 12 months. Right, for the first time. Even oil. Now, copper has been underperforming for a bit, and now oil has joined it. So that tells you something about the sentiment. Yet, mining stocks are trading at all-time high. All the mining stocks.
Right. So. And gold miners are just starting
their rally. They've got a bit to go.
All right.